My name is Dave, and I'm 45 years old. I own a garage, a space that holds everything I've worked for throughout my life. What makes it unique is that I built it from scratch. My journey started when I was 18, working in my uncle's garage for 7 years. After saving enough money, I finally opened my own. Those early years were tough, but I poured my heart, soul, and effort into building it into what it is today. Over the last 30 years, it grew beyond my expectations. Did I ever fall in love? Yes, I did. Her name was Lily. We met at an auto show when she was still in university. It felt like an instant connection. We exchanged numbers and kept in touch, despite living in different cities. A few months later, she visited my home for the first time, and it felt special. But soon after, tragedy struck. Lily's parents passed away, and she almost had to drop out of university. I couldn't stand to see her struggle, so I used my savings to help her finish her studies. She was overwhelmed with gratitude, hugging me tightly as she cried. 5 years later, Lily moved in with me, and life felt perfect. She landed a job at a law firm, and we started a family together. We raised 2 wonderful children, Maria, now 18 and about to graduate from university, and Jack, 17, who plays in a local rock band. Watching my children chase their dreams gave me a deep sense of fulfillment. But as the years passed, something changed in Lily. After 20 years of marriage, I thought I knew everything about her habits, her thoughts, even the small lies she told. However, after starting a high-profile role under a prominent attorney, she began coming home late more often. I sensed her slipping away. For 3 months, I said nothing, just observing. Finally, I confronted her. "Why have you been coming home so late?" I asked, calm but firm. She broke down after 20 minutes of questioning and confessed. She was having an affair with her boss. My mind raced as I asked her one simple question. Why? Her answer hit me like a brick. "You're the same man I married 20 years ago. You haven't changed. You're stuck in your garage, wearing the same old clothes. You're loyal, but you're not enough. I need someone who reflects my success, an alpha male." Her words cut deep, but I refused to let them define me. "So, you're leaving me after 25 years because I don't fit your ideal image? Because I'm not presentable at your fancy parties? Have I not been a good husband? I supported your education, raised 2 children, and ensured they went to college. And yet, it's not enough for you." She stood her ground. "I'm moving on with my new partner. If you don't comply, I'll make sure you lose everything. Your garage, your house, everything you've worked for." I leaned back, smiling. "You think you can take everything from me with legal tricks?" She smirked. "Yes. Best of luck." The next morning, she called her lover, John, her boss. "We have a problem. Dave knows about us." John replied calmly, "It's not the end of the world. We planned for this." That afternoon, John showed up at my garage. "Mr. Brown, may I come in?" "I know who you are," I replied. "Lily told you about us," he began. "I'm her boss. I have a team of top attorneys. If you resist, we'll bury you in legal battles, divorce papers, restraining orders, everything. The garage you built will be seized." I chuckled. "You think you can intimidate me?" He smirked. "I've done it before." I stood up, towering over him. "Let me tell you something, John. I built this garage from the ground up. I've worked my entire life to provide for my family. You can try to take everything from me, but you'll never have my soul. I've been unbroken for 45 years, and I'm not starting now." John faltered for a moment, but quickly regained his composure. "We'll see about that." I watched him leave, knowing the battle was far from over. But I was ready. This fight wasn't just about my garage. It was about standing firm for what I believed in. The alpha male needs to set the tone and let her know how things are going to end, just like I did with you. I managed to take her from you, no problem. I took a step forward, then interrupted. My fist crashed into the lawyer's face. There was a satisfying crunch as his teeth and gristle were knocked loose. He crumbled to the floor, his back against the wall of the workshop, an expression of disbelief on the unbruised side of his face. Consider that lesson number 1. Before the pain could really hit, I hauled John to his feet, only to immediately drop him again with a solid uppercut to his diaphragm. This time, he collapsed to the side, gasping for air. Lesson number 2. As he struggled to catch his breath, I brought my boot down hard on his outstretched hand, snapping his wrist and several bones in the process. And now, lesson 3 and 4. John's moaning was cut short when I stomped on his chest, breaking 3 ribs. His face twisted in agony. "Yes, Mr. Alpha," I said coldly. It would help if you kept quiet. I'm trying to teach you something here. When I was in high school, I promised myself I would never use my size and strength to hurt others, but you, John, have forced me to break that promise. John coughed up blood, his efforts to hold my gaze failing as I placed my foot on his throat to regain his full attention. Before you barge in here and tried to rub my nose in it, I was planning on letting you go without consequences, but now you've changed my mind. You want a lesson in alpha behavior? Well, here it is. I pressed harder on his throat. The concept of the alpha male comes from wolf packs, but an alpha isn't always the biggest or the smartest wolf. An alpha is the one who's the most ruthless, the one who doesn't hesitate to kill when necessary. And you. I released my foot and watched him weep. You're not even close. You're just another office drone playing dress-up in a world you don't understand, I continued. You have options, John. You can go to the police, but there's no guarantee they'll arrest me. Maybe I'll get out on bail, maybe not. Maybe they'll even attribute this to me, or maybe they won't. Worst case, I get 5 years. 5 years of learning how to be even more efficient in dealing out pain, learning how to make people disappear. And when I get out, we'll have another talk. I stood up, adjusting my shirt. Or, you can consider this experience a lesson, a cautionary tale of what happens when you sleep with another man's wife. John was silent now, breathing heavily, blood pooling beneath him. Now get out of my workshop, I said coldly. Later that evening, Lily called. John, I'm waiting at the office. I thought you'd be back by now. What's going on? John's voice sounded weak. I just got moved to another ward. I'm at the hospital. Lily was stunned. What happened? Was it a car accident? John hesitated. No, I misjudged your husband. My arrogance led me to think I could handle him alone. He broke my nose, my left hand, a few ribs, maybe even my cheekbone. That's impossible, Lily said, disbelieving. Dave's never been violent. John coughed painfully. Believe me, if you want, I'll show you the x-rays. I have to go, the pain meds are kicking in. The next night, Lily found herself stranded on a deserted stretch of road. Her credit cards had been declined, her cash was gone, and her car had run out of fuel. Desperate, she scrolled through her contacts, but no one picked up, not her children, no one. As dawn broke, a van pulled up beside her. She froze as I stepped out. Get in, I said, not waiting for a response. She climbed in, trembling. I drove in silence for a while before finally speaking. Here's how this is going to go. You're going to file for divorce, no alimony, no shared assets. Everything I've earned stays with me. Lily nodded, her lips trembling. You keep what's yours. I don't care what reason you give for the divorce, but once it's done, you're leaving the city. My kids can see you if they want, but not in my presence. She stared at me, wide-eyed. And if I don't? If your things aren't packed and gone by tomorrow at 11 a.m., I added coldly, they'll be burned. 5 days later, the paperwork was on my desk. A few months after that, I was a free man. Do I regret it? Maybe I regret that my marriage fell apart. Maybe I regret that Lily couldn't understand loyalty. But what I don't regret is showing John exactly what an alpha male looks like. Now I'll live my life alone.